We're continuing to determine rules, and in this part, we'll be answering this question. A graph which has the rule y is equal to a, the square root of x minus h, passes through the points 4, 2, and 7, 4. Find the values of a and h. What we're first going to do is we're going to sub each of these points into the rule. So let's begin by subbing in 4, 2. So we're going to sub in the point 4, 2. And we're subbing it into this rule here. So meaning in the y spot, I'm going to put a 2. And then in the x spot, I'm going to put a 4. Perfect. Now there's nothing more I can do with this. I've got two unknowns, so I can't solve it for either one of them. I'm just going to have to leave it as it is for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to label this equation, equation 1. Then I'm going to sub in my other point. So I'm going to sub in the point 7, 4 now. So sub in 7, 4. So that means into my y spot, I'm going to put a 4. Into the x spot, I'm going to put a 7 minus h. And again, I'm going to call this my equation 2. What I've done is I've created simultaneous equations, this one and this one. So the next thing I need to do is I need to solve simultaneous equations. We've done this before, solving simultaneous equations. In this example, what we need to do is think about it for a second. And remember, what I want to do is get rid of one of these pronumerals here. And that way I can just have one that I can solve for. So how can I get rid of one of these pronumerals? Well, what I could do, and I'll write out what I'm doing here, we're going to solve the simultaneous equations by dividing two by, takes me forever to change these colors, 1. That's where we're going to go. We're going to divide 2 by 1. So what is that going to look like? It means I'm going to take 2. So let me write it down. I'm going to go 4 is equal to a, the square root of 7 minus h, and I'm going to divide it by 1. So that means I'm going to divide this by 2, and this side I'm going to divide by a, the square root of 4 minus h. Now the reason why I've done that is hopefully you can see this a will cancel with this a, and that's what we want. We want to get rid of one of the pronumerals, and now we can just solve for h. Now 4 and 2, that's just going to become a 2 there and a 1 there. So at the end of the day, what I'm going to be left with here is 2 is equal to the square root of 7 minus h over 4 minus h. Ooh, and that should be a square root there as well. And now it's just a matter of solving this now. So I need to solve it for h. So what I would next do is times both sides by the denominator here. That will bring that up here. The square root of 7 minus h. Perfect. We're running out of room a bit here, aren't we? So what I might do is just bring it all the way back up here, just to give us some more room. I'll rewrite it. So we've got this. This is 4 minus h is equal to the square root of 7 minus h. The next thing I want to do here is I will square both sides. By squaring it, I'm just going to get rid of these square roots because they're getting in the way. So I'm going to square both sides, and that means I'm going to be left with 2 squared is 4, and then all of this is going to go away. And I'm just going to be left with 4 minus h because that square root goes away because I'm squaring. But you've got to make sure you square this out the front. And then over here, I'm just going to be left with 7 minus h. Then the next thing I can do is I can just distribute in here. So I expand that out. That's going to be 16 minus 4h is equal to 7 minus h. The next thing I will do is I will minus 7 from both sides, which will leave me with 9 is equal to, and then I'll plus 4h onto the other side, which will be 3h. And that means what I'm going to end up with, once everything is said and done, is h is equal to 3. So that took a bit of time there, didn't it? And that is just the pain of simultaneous equations. So you've got to be careful with it. You've got to work your way slowly through it. But that is how you would approach it. Now, we've figured out the value of h, but we also need to figure out the value of a. Now, the way we can do this, the quickest way we can do it, is just to sub it back into something. So we could sub h equals 3 in either 1 or 2, and that's the best way to do it. So which one do we want to sub it into? Sub in h is equal to 3 into, now which one, it really isn't going to make a difference. Let's just do 1. And then we're going to solve it for a. And I might even write that down. To solve for a. Okay, so I'm going to get 2 is equal to a, the square root of 4 minus 3. 2 is going to be equal to a, the square root of 4 minus 3 is 1. The square root of 1 is 1. So 2 is equal to a. And there is my a value. So I have found both my a and my h value. Now that's all the question asked of us, just to find the a and the h value. But what we could do now is we could also just write down what the rule is going to be now. So we knew that it was y is equal to a, the square root of x minus h. So therefore, at the end of the day, the rule that we have here is y is equal to, my a value is 2, x minus 3 will be my final answer. And I've written down the rule that we have. So this is using simultaneous equations, which can be tricky. It comes with practice. Remember, what you'll want to do is you want to get rid of one of them to solve for the other. Make sure that you're reaching out if you're struggling with the simultaneous equation business. All right, I'll see you in the next part.